Today, we're diving into two true stories that honestly feel like they're ripped straight out of a movie. These are tales that really make you question the whole idea of an inescapable prison. They're basically case studies in just how far someone will go to defy the absolute limits of captivity. We build these massive fortresses of concrete and steel, right? We engineer them to be the final word, to be absolutely escape-proof. But as we're about to see, when you lock a person away, you can't always lock away their will to be free. So that's the real question, isn't it? Can any physical wall, any barrier, truly hold the human spirit captive? And to get to the bottom of that, we've got two absolute masters of the escape. Now, what's so cool is that their methods could not be more different. One is all about explosive, nonstop action, just constantly hammering against the walls. And the other? Well, that's a quiet masterpiece of methodical patience, a slow, calculated dismantling of what seemed totally impossible. Okay, let's jump into our first case. I want you to meet Adrian Carton de Wiart. This guy wasn't just a soldier, he was like a force of nature. Seriously, by the time he was captured in World War II, he'd already been shot through the skull, the face, and the ankle. He'd survived multiple plane crashes, and get this, he'd even torn off his own fingers when a doctor wouldn't amputate them. So for a guy like that, a POW camp wasn't the end. It was just the next thing to get through. 5. That's the number. That's how many times this one-eyed, one-handed general, who was in his 60s by the way, tried to escape from an Italian prisoner of war camp. Not just one desperate shot at freedom. 5. Calculated. Attempts. That number isn't just a number. It's basically his entire personality summed up. Completely and utterly relentless. Now, what's really fascinating here is that this slide details just one of those 5 attempts. Can you imagine digging for 7 straight months with other generals, finally getting out and then spending 8 days on the run? And the best part? He did all this as a 61-year-old, one-eyed British aristocrat who spoke 0 Italian. His disguise as an Italian peasant probably wasn't fooling anyone, but his audacity? Absolutely astonishing. All right, let's shift gears and look at our second story. It's a completely different blueprint for getting free. We're leaving the chaos of the battlefield and stepping into the dead silence of a dungeon. And here, we're swapping the general's explosive, loud audacity for the quiet, almost superhuman resolve of a French shoemaker named Pierre Picaud. This right here, this was Picaud's entire world. He was thrown into the fortress of Fenestrelle not because he'd committed some terrible crime, but all because of a vicious lie told by so-called friends who were jealous and wanted the woman he was about to marry. He was literally meant to be forgotten by the world, completely erased by stone walls and silence. 7. For 7 long years, Picaud worked on one single all-consuming project in almost total darkness. There were no multiple tries, no frantic dashes for the wall, just the painstaking execution of one single, impossibly patient plan, fueled by the burning injustice of being locked away for something he didn't do. And this timeline just shows the incredible scale of what he accomplished. I mean, this wasn't just an escape. It was practically a geological project. He used a sharpened coin and little pieces of his own bed to chip away at a solid stone wall, day after day, year after painstaking year. Think about the mental strength it takes to believe in a plan that takes longer to pull off than most wars. So here's the crucial point. We're looking at 2 completely opposite ways of expressing the very same desire. Carton de Wiart's way was loud, it was external, it was trying again and again. Picaud's was silent, internal, and focused on one single shot. But both men were driven by the same fundamental thing, a refusal to accept the walls that were built around them. So, what do these unbelievable stories of endurance and genius actually teach us? What's the common thread that ties together a battle-hardened general and a forgotten shoemaker? Well, they show us that the will to be free is a creative force. It doesn't follow just one playbook. It'll use nonstop action if it can, and it will use incredible patience if it has to. But at the end of the day, as long as there is even a sliver of hope, the human mind becomes the ultimate lockpick, the ultimate tool for escape, capable of defeating any prison ever built. Which kind of leaves us with this final thought to chew on. Maybe the strongest prisons aren't actually made of stone and steel at all. Maybe true captivity is just believing that escape isn't possible. And maybe true freedom, as these 2 men proved, is the unwavering decision to just begin.